Okay, so we're starting to stream. Okay. Natalie, go for it.
Yeah.
Hi, Natalie. I can't see you.
Hi, Omi. Yeah, I'm having issues seeing through, but there we are. Hiya. Welcome to Good Old Times. I'm Natalie Clack, coming at you live from my van. Tonight we are joined by Omi Itsweli. Hello, Omi.
Hi, nice to meet you, Natalie.
How you doing?
I'm well, thank you, and you?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just going to give you a little introduction, okay?
Sure.
So, Omi, you are the author of a new children's book called A Daisy, yeah?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's for 4-8-year-olds.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just reading it, reading up a little translation for A Daisy, and it means daughter of the king, yeah?
Yes, it does. That's the title. First, to be specific, first daughter of the king, not any daughter.
Oh, the most important daughter of the king.
Exactly.
Nice. And you call her Daisy for short in the book, don't you?
I do call her Daisy for short.
Fab. So you are a professional in film production. You're a nursing school and you work in nursery school education, and you've got a book. You're a pretty busy woman then.
I am pretty busy. I sort of decided now. Well, I kind of decided as a kid as well, but I've started to live it. There's no need to be any one thing in this life. You can be as many things as you want to be. As many talents as you have, you can have as many professions as all those talents.
I love that. Yeah, no one fits in one box, do they? And everyone just assumes, you're this or you're that. But why can't we be everything? I love it. What a great attitude.
Exactly.
Brilliant. I don't know if anyone who's watching has seen, but a link just scrolled across the bottom telling you where you can buy A Daisy. So give it a little look, click on the link. I know you can get it from Amazon.com as well, yeah?
Yep, Amazon.com.
In print, it's $14.99, and on Kindle, which is how I got it, it's $3.99. So, we're going to show you a picture of the book right about now. Or maybe not. Have you got a copy of the book there? I actually bought it a couple of months back, and I sat and read it with my nieces, and they loved it, and they got so sucked into the illustrations. Who was the illustrator for it? Was it yourself?
No, it wasn't, but it was a Nigerian illustrator, so he was all the way in Nigeria, and we were communicating via WhatsApp.
You did it through WhatsApp?
Yeah, so he would send me the picture. This, or do that, or make it a little bit more like this, or make it a little bit more like that.
Okay, sorry, I lost you halfway through that, but from what I can gather, you said he sends you the picture, and then you give him a load of feedback telling him it's not right, and you want loads of changes.
Exactly that. So yeah, it took a couple of months to get all the pictures the way I wanted them. But yeah, that's exactly what happened. I'm sure at some point he was like, I wish I had not taken up this job, but he did, and we got to the end.
Oh, it's always stressful when you've got a big project on, though. I don't know if you're anything like me, but whenever I've got something coming up, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I go into tunnel vision. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly how I was. And it was like, no, this is not right. You've got to change it. But I think I've got, from having gone through the process, I think I'm better now, because like I've got other books I'd like to write. And I don't think I'm as difficult with because I'm using a different illustrator. And I think I'm like a lot nicer with her than I was with this guy, because I sort of like, I kind of like didn't recognize myself a little bit, and I thought, no, that's not a good sign.
Yeah. Sometimes other people around us can bring out the worst in us, and sometimes they can bring out the best in us, can't they? So it's
Exactly.
If you've got another illustrator, I'm assuming you've got a second book coming out for the series then.
I've actually written, in terms of the words, 2 books, other books, but in terms of the illustrator, I'm still working on the second.
You're still working on the second. Yeah, it takes time, doesn't it? It does all take time.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time, especially if you want to get it right. And this time I'm going to try and self-publish differently, so I'm taking my time.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. One of my friends is a self-published author, and she felt pressured at the start to follow what the fans wanted, and was pushing things to be as quick as possible, and it ended up giving her a massive writer's block. So if you take your time with it, you can kind of chill, have a little bit more, I don't know, zen qualities towards it, and it's not so stressful for yourself then, because things like this need to be enjoyable, don't they? Yeah.
Exactly.
Just while we've got like a little pause on things, I want to invite the audience to visit our crowdfunding page. Okay, so if you guys can pledge your support, we are producing a lot more content at the moment to bring you information and interviews with all different kinds of creators. So we're going to be having musicians, writers like Omi. Oh, that's the wrong way. Writers like Omi, directors, all people, failing actors, hence myself, all people from all different walks of life. So come and check a little bit in, just to support the work we're doing, and follow us on social media avenues as well. And yeah, support the troops, basically. So, Omi, back to the book.
Right.
So you're, and a little bit more about you as well, actually. So, when I was reading the book, I got this strong sense of self that came through it, and all the way through it, obviously because I knew I was interviewing you for it, I kind of had a feeling of, where has the author been and where has this developed? Every story has a story behind it, and I wanted to know what Daisy's was more.
Okay, so I mean, Daisy for me was a collaboration of my 2 cultures. So I was born here in England, but obviously I'm originally from Nigeria, West Africa, and I wanted to create something that celebrated both cultures. Really, I wanted to create something that celebrated the fact that I grew up in the Western world, but at the same time had a lot of my culture imbibed in me growing up. And so I wanted to create a book that celebrated African culture, but from a way that Western culture could understand.
No, like it was really nice to see a children's book that had that amalgamation of the 2 worlds in it. It's yeah, we all find ourselves stretched, obviously, with different paths that have brought us to where we are. So it was a lovely book to see it, and to know that it's relatable to all cultures, not just the Nigerian culture. I don't know, I really enjoyed it. And when I read it to my nieces, my niece Poppy, who's the eldest, she's 10, she was like, is there going to be another one? Like, she just wanted to know what was going to happen next. Like, she absolutely loved it. She absolutely loved it. Bonnie is more of a, you've got to read her a book a couple of times for her to get on with it. But that's a personality trait, Poppy was like, oh, show me more. Can I come and interview her? Like, she really wanted to ask you questions. And she was talking about all of the clothes and accessories in the book. She just loved it. She thought you nailed all of the little spots. that were throughout the book. Absolutely so amazing. Now, I know that you are a film producer. Obviously, you're teaching in a nursery school. You've published a book. We've established that you want to do a lot of different things and you want to put your finger in a lot of pies. But how do you find your balance of work? And how do you manage things so that you can still achieve all your personal goals and keep on top of your well-being?
I think it's kind of, I'm not a multitasker, I'll be the first to admit that. You have to sort of look at what you have on your table and be like, okay, what do I need to do first in order to meet all my deadlines on time? You have to prioritize. And for that minute or hour or second or even month, depending on how you have prioritized, that's all you do. That's what your focus is on. It's either that and resting, and then until your focus changes again, until you can focus on something else. It's not possible to focus on all 3 things or 10 things or 15 things at exactly the same time.
Yeah, you'd be exhausted. You end up with burnout, don't you? It's really hard. So do you do anything then to help with that switch, or is it tunnel vision on one thing, finish that, tunnel vision on another, finish that?
Well, it's more like you sort of, like I said, if you sort of decide on the deadlines you have for each thing that you're doing, then you build around that. So you might say, I want to have my illustrations done by the end of September. Then you have to work backwards to figure out how many illustrations you have to do by the end of each month, which then tells you to dial back. So for instance, I might be ahead or behind on my illustrations, so then I know that I need to focus on illustrations for a bit more, or I might be ahead, in which case I can say, okay, instead of doing more illustrations, I take a break from illustrations because I'm ahead of what I told myself I was going to do.
Seems like you're a really focused person.
I try to be. I mean, I'm actually easily distracted, which is why I have to have all these deadlines and things. Because the minute someone calls me up and goes, oh, do you want to go for a drink? I'm like, yeah, I do. I really do.
Of course I want to. Can I? That's another question.
Yeah, exactly. So it's that kind of thing. So like, if I can't, then I know that one of the things I need to table in is that drink with that person because I've cancelled. So now it's my job to figure out where I could put that in so that I can get that done as well.
Yeah, it's hard to find time for yourself when you've got lots of projects on at any given moment, isn't it? So even with the prioritizing, that's something I always find that I fail at as well is making time for me when I've got to focus, because it's so.
Oh, I never forget to make time for me. That part's the easy part. I'm a very naturally selfish person, so making time for me is the easiest part. It's so easy to make time for me. I can forget about the whole world and it's all about me.
Oh, me. That's where the name comes in, look, obviously. Oh, me.
Exactly.
What do you do in your free time then? Do you listen to podcasts? Do you like to exercise? What goes on for you?
So I'm a complete TV person. TV, movies, series, and then fiction. Anything non-reality I'm good with. I'm not too great with reality TV. I live my own reality. I don't really want to watch another person's. But fiction I'm good with. And then I'll cry over anything. Literally, if it's a soppy story, I'm in tears. Someone has cancer, I'm in tears. Someone got broken up, I'm in tears. It's like, it doesn't matter if it's a book or the movie, I'm crying. It's ridiculous.
You've got to cry it out. Cry it out.
Yes, it's absolutely ridiculous. And it's actually funny because I once dated this person and he was worse than me. And it was really funny because I'll watch him cry and then I'll be like, oh, now I can't cry because he's crying.
I'm a bit of a crier when it comes to films. And me and my sister went to the cinema to watch, oh my gosh, what was it? My Sister's Keeper. and we were both sat, and I had this big thick scarf on.
Oh, my sister's Cooper was a mess.
Oh my gosh, it was awful. Oh, was it? Yeah. So we were sat next to each other, and I was like crying a little bit and sobbing into my scarf. And my sister, who's not a crier at all, grabbed the scarf from around my neck, and she had the other end, and we were both just sobbing in next to each other, crying. It was so cheesy. Everyone in the cinema was like, "There's something wrong with these girls," For me,
it was Titanic. I went to see Titanic in the cinema, and I was bawling so much that and I was in the bathroom. I'd finished it, and I was still bawling in the bathroom. And this woman was like, "Oh, don't worry, it's not real." And I was like, "No, ma'am, the Titanic was very real. This might not be real, but the Titanic was very real. All of this actually happened, minus the love story."
Well, you never know. There might have been a little love story in there. It's nice to think it, isn't it?
Well, true. You never really know.
You'd like to think, though, there was enough room on the door for the two of them, and
exactly. That's the thing. If there was a love story, it has to have ended happily.
Definitely. So going back to your book and kind of your lifestyle and your balance with work, obviously you're a children's author, and you also work in a children's nursery. Do you find that working with children helps you when you're working on your book? Does it give you inspiration at all?
Well, I mean, working with children did sort of make it easier from the perspective of you have in your mind the idea of a child's attention span. So you're sitting there and I'm like, okay, no, I need more pictures for the kids who can't read, because they're not going to sit through all these words. They need the pictures to keep them focused. Whereas children who can read would be fine. So that did help from that perspective, because otherwise I might have had way too many words and not enough pictures.
Yeah. Did you test it out with them?
I actually didn't, because at the time I had taken a break. It was during COVID, so I had taken a break from actually working with children. So there was no one to test it out on. But I did test it out. I read the story to my mom and my sister, and I got them to vet the illustrations as well. So I did have feedback before I got to print.
Yeah, sometimes that's the hardest part, isn't it? As a writer or anything you put your name to creatively, is giving it out to someone and going, please be kind of a little bit easy on me.
Exactly. Don't desecrate it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, sometimes though, absolutely abolishing all of your hopes and dreams is what you need to make it better.
Well, true. Yeah, and then thinking that I can honestly say that my sister helped me write a better ending, so.
Oh, there we are. So maybe it should be Oh Me and Co.
And my sister Renoir, right?
What's your sister's name?
Renoir.
Renoir.
Like the Renoir, but it's Renoir.
Is she older than you or younger?
No, she's younger than me. I'm the eldest in my family.
So you are the first daughter of the king.
I am indeed.
I was up there in a high horse, eldest sister. I'm the baby too. Tell your sister I said hi.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so also you know, so we've covered your children's book. We've covered the fact that you work in a school, and we've talked briefly about you being a producer, but what kind of things are you producing at the moment? Obviously, COVID must have set back quite a few of your projects. How have you managed it?
Right. So yeah, I mean, just after the first lockdown, I actually did a short film called Polyamory, and that's doing the festival round at the moment, and that's getting quite positive feedback. So I'm quite proud of that. Also working on another short film, the teaser and a teaser for a feature, and that's a sort of the horror genre, And that one is about a guy who's actually innocent, but is seen to be guilty, and then there's someone who goes around exacting justice because he thinks he's exacting justice on a guilty person, but he's actually completely innocent.
That sounds a bit dark.
So it's horror, so it's sit at the edge of your seat kind of thing, and I don't want to give too much away, so that's all you get.
Okay. It's a no wonder why though you're writing children's books if you're dealing with horrors in your protection.
Exactly, you need some joy in your life.
Yeah.
You need some balance.
A little bit of rainbows.
Exactly.
So when did you start writing the book?
Oh, that was somewhere about July of 2020.
July of 2020. That's not that long ago, really.
No, not really, not at all. So like, I sat down and I was talking to my family, my mum, and she was like, "You should write a book." And I was like, "Me, write a book? Nah, I can't write a book." And she's like, "No, you can. You'll be really good at it." And I just thought, okay, well, normally I would just be like, whatever. But I just thought, I have the time. I'm not doing anything else particularly. Let's give it a go. And I thought, okay, I'll start small. I will do what I feel like I know, which is children. And so that's how I decided to write a children's story. And then I decided to like, okay, let's see what children's stories are out there, and you know, how I can play with something that's already out there to make it more African at the end of the day.
So there was an inspiration there from behind. What was your inspiration, if you don't mind me asking?
So my mum was the inspiration. She was like, "You can do this." She was like, "You could totally do this." And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." But in the end, I just decided to try.
Hey, do you know what? You don't know if you're going to be good at something unless you try it. You'll always be a terrible author if you never write a book. Whereas if you write one...
Exactly.
Okay. It's half the battle.
So it was really good. I was really proud of it at the end of the day. I was like, obviously there's room for improvement as with all things, but I was proud of the fact that I got it going because I could have decided not to try at all.
Yeah, so what's the story that you're telling behind it, like with it? What's the overall picture?
Well, for me and this book specifically, I wanted to teach people in a really story fashion as opposed to like hitting people over the head with it. I wanted to tell people, you know, what's good in the world today is about being kind to others, being hardworking, being someone of discipline. And so that was what it was about, and sort of like not putting anybody's ideas down, you know. Just because someone has a small idea doesn't mean that it will have a small outcome. A small idea can lead to greatness. And so that was kind of the idea behind it at the end of the day.
It's kind of like, sorry to go over religious on you here, but do you know there's a Bible passage about a mustard seed? And it says,
yeah, exactly.
Faith as small as a mustard seed. You can move mountains. And it's kind of like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, with little strength you can do great things. That's beautiful. That's really beautiful.
And that's basically what I was trying to sell at the end of the day. The idea that just because you're a little person, a child, doesn't mean that the little thing you do is going to produce a little result. It might have catastrophically big results, and in a good way.
Definitely, and you see that in the book. I mean, for me, the main theme of the book was about how important it is to deal with things with integrity and honesty. You know, it was one of those types of books where it really instills like a sense of it sort of brings to the forefront how important it is to be kind to each other, like you said, and how to act. And I think the children that read the book will take a little bit from that and go, oh well, you know, if this person in this book who feels real, Daisy feels like a real girl, so obviously you've based her on someone, but if this person gets this result, then maybe if I do this, I can get that result. So I feel like you've really achieved what you were setting out to achieve there. Really, really, honestly, it was lovely. So with Daisy, I'm assuming she's got a little bit of yourself running through her as a character.
Well, it's really funny because it wasn't that I based her on myself. It was more that I sort of was like, okay, so if all of us in this world were the best possible people we could be, then she would look a little like Daisy. Doing exactly what she enjoys doing in life, and being a person of integrity and a person of honor, and being kind to other people. So she wasn't just working for the sake of working. She was doing what she wanted to do. She was doing what she was passionate about, and doing what you're passionate about creates joy. So it's easy to be kind when you're a happy person on your own in the first place.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you juxtapose that against the villain of the book, you know, the reason he was so unkind is because he was bitter to begin with. On his own, in himself, he was not a happy person. So it was difficult to be happy towards others.
But, you know, even as the villain in the book, I felt like Daisy kind of had the approach of that, you know. That was something that she knew he'd obviously had quite a bad upbringing, you know, and it felt like she wasn't, because she's got so much positivity, it balanced out his badness, and she could see that there was potential there for something a little bit more in him, you know. And it's sad when you've got the good character who's so pure and sweet, and then the bad character, and we know that people like that often act that way because of learned behaviour and how they were treated when they were growing up, you know. So I think it really highlights that, you know, throughout it. So Daisy is like the ideal person in the world. What other characters have you got in there that you've related to people you know? Or
it was
people
Daisy's child Murmur.
Okay.
So Daisy's child Murmur is actually based on a 3-year-old that came through that I worked with from the time she was 1.5. So, I mean, if you open the dedication in the book, you'll see a dedication towards a person, and that person's name is Mofifolua, and that's a real person, and that's who I based the character of the 3-year-old on. So she's literally a real person, like, existing in the world.
Oh, that's what an amazing thing as well, to have someone like dedicate a book to you when you're 3. That's amazing.
Well, she's 5 now, but it was based on when she was 3.
Ah, lovely, lovely. So is she a godchild, or just a really close?
She was one of the people she was someone I was a key person for. So I raised her from, like, I taught her how to speak, and I taught her how to read and how to write, well, the rudiments of how to read and how to write, and until she went into, like, what we call big people school.
Big people
and then
school.
she got the rest of it.
Oh, lovely.
So,
lovely,
yeah, so she's
so nice.
She has my heart all the time, every day, so it's easy. I feel like she's my kid as opposed to she's the kid of the person who actually gave birth to her.
I feel you there. I feel you. Do you know, sometimes, like, I don't have any children myself. Do you have children?
No, I don't have any children.
Oh, no. But you know, when you've got a child, like, nearby, like, with my nieces, Poppy, Bonnie and Ellie, you know, when I'm with them, they just, like, bring out this joy, and it's like an overwhelming joy, and you look at them sometimes and you think you are the most beautiful human being to ever have been born. How is it even possible that a human being can be I
mean, she's very opinionated in the sense that she knows her own mind, and she's not about to take your opinion as hers. And if you give her an answer she doesn't like, she's going to keep asking questions till she gets the answer she wants. And that just made me love her. I was just like, oh my God. I actually watched her, you know, like, she was upset with someone, and she went and told her mum, this is what this person did. And her mum ignored her, so she went to, like, 3 different people before finally coming to me and saying, look what this person did, because she was not happy with the response she got. So she just kept going, this person did this to me. And I was like, yeah, whatever. But then when she told it to me, I was like, okay, I've heard this story before. So I know that for
Hello?
you to happen right now. And then it was like, okay, she wanted the person told off, because as far as she was concerned, the person was in the wrong. And to a certain extent, the person was in the wrong. And so I was like, okay, fine. I will tell the person off in front of you. And when I did that, that was the end of it.
She was happy then. She just wanted her justice.
Exactly. She just wanted justice for herself. As far as she was concerned, that person was out of order and someone needed to tell her. And it couldn't have been done behind her back, because then she wouldn't know.
So with the book, so obviously there's lots of magical moments throughout it, but how did you try to show it best? Did you struggle with that side of things? Where's the magic story for you?
For me, it was, I wanted to show that the world could be a beautiful place, and that for me was the magic. It wasn't this created world where everything was perfect. It was actually that this world, this current world we live in, can be the world we're reading about in the story. There's no reason why that is the fictitious world. And so for me, that was the magic. It was sort of like writing it with this idea of, oh my God, if people did this, then our world would be like exactly like this. And that was, to me, that was the magic of it.
If only, isn't it?
Exactly. So it was just this whole thing of, if we could just be a little bit kinder to each other, if we just, had the idea that all these good values and qualities that we hear about, we actually try to live them, the world would be so much better for it. Yeah,
like, I know it sounds really cheesy, but kind of love conquers all in a way, and by showing that kindness
exactly.
to each other.
What it is, love and self-respect and respecting other people and being tolerant of other people literally conquers everything.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard. No one says it's easy. That's why people don't do it sometimes. It's because it's a lot harder.
I read this book that said, you know what, that most things are simple, but they're not easy. You know exactly what you need to do and what you should do, but doing it is not easy.
Yeah, it requires conscious effort to wake up every day and say, I choose to be this way at the moment, rather than...
We need to wake up every day to stop. I mean, how many of us actually wake up at our alarms, or do we just press snooze and do 10 more minutes? I mean, it's hard enough to just say, I'm going to wake up when my alarm is set, when my alarm goes off. It's hard enough to do that, and then you add all the other things you're being asked to do.
Yeah, and not only that, so I listen to a lot of like self-help podcasts, and there's this one like series online that I was listening to, and it was on about how by lying to yourself, you're straight away, so if you tell yourself you're going to do something, so if you set your alarm at 5:45 in the morning and go, I am going to go for a run, if you don't do that, you're letting yourself down, and then is pulling up that negativity and that lack of self-respect, because you're telling yourself you're going to do something and you're letting yourself down, which is where all of the other side of things of it being harder to be nicer to people, because if you can't be nice to yourself, how can you be nice to someone else?
Exactly. Yeah, I think I read a similar book to you as well, where you're breaking promises. In my version, it was that you're breaking promises to yourself, and that's the last person you should be breaking a promise to, because you have to live with yourself.
Yeah, you should be your own best friend, and you should be your own advocate for anything, and the best way to do that is by, rather than overloading yourself with, I need to be this way, I need to be that way, I need to be this way, just go one day at a time. Okay, so today I'll spend maybe, I'll go for a little walk. It won't be a long walk. I'll just make sure I'm walking for 15 minutes rather than saying I'm going to do a 5-mile walk today. And then on the days where you want to go further, enjoy it. Just be in that moment and do it. But don't lie to yourself.
You're using examples that make me think that we've read exactly the same book.
What book have you read?
It's this book about, is it Atomic Habits or something like that?
No, it's it comes from I don't know if you know him, but his name's Jordan Peterson. So he talks about, he's a psychologist from Canada. He's a bit opinionated and a bit out there in certain things, but he's a clinical psychologist, and his sort of view on how to be as a person and sort of live your life. You know, I find it, lots of these authors that write these books, you know, they've all got the same qualities and the same material inside them, but it's just packaged in a different way to sort of engage.
Yeah, like this one I read was about creating lasting good habits.
Yeah.
And it was how you can, if you want to wake up early, you might start with, just not necessarily waking up early is the first target. That might be the last target. It might be that the night before you do one thing towards going to bed early so that you can wake up early. Or like you said, if you want to run a 5 mile, if you're planning to run 5 miles, maybe the first step would be just to bring out the trainers and put them by your bed. And then in the morning, just wear your trainers. So, that might be the first step. And don't break yourself, don't kill yourself for not actually doing the 5 mile run on the first day. Maybe start by, like you said, doing a 5-minute walk, and then you do a 10-minute walk, and before you know it, you're doing 5 miles.
Yeah, be kind to yourself. Be
exactly.
Don't be, it's like when I moved into the van, at the start, I was like, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? Where am I going to sleep? And at the start, I kind of stayed very close to my hometown and where I know, and I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. But then at the same time, I needed to just adapt to the surroundings I was in before slowly reaching out and going to places kind of in South Wales. And now I'm in England, and then I'm at West Wales, So it's those little steps. It does make a difference to you and your attitude and your mentality, And the best thing is baby steps. That's what they say. Don't run before you walk. Baby steps.
Exactly. So, and you're more likely to keep the habit when it's a baby step.
Yeah, definitely. And it's 30 days to make a habit, isn't it? Isn't that what it says?
Yeah, it's about that.
30 days to make a habit. That's the hardest 30 days ever, but once you've done it, you've got it for life.
Exactly.
So what are your superpowers then, Omi?
Oh, God, my superpower is probably persistence. I'm persistent to a fault. I am persistent to a fault. If I think that I can get something done and you're stopping me from doing it, I'm going to keep coming back to you with different ways of me getting that thing done until you're like, okay, we're doing it. I hear you.
Okay, I'll do it. Get off my back.
Exactly. I'm very difficult when I think I can get something done. When I'm not sure whether I can do it or not, then, you can convince me to let it go. But when I'm like, we're doing this, then I don't like anything getting in my way.
Yeah, I like that. Strong-willed.
Yes, very. I'm not sure that a lot of people who meet me would agree with you that it's a positive trait the way I handle it, but this is the thing.
Do you know what? That's people's opinions, and other people's opinions of you ain't none of your damn business.
Exactly. You deal with you and I'll deal with me.
Yeah, exactly. Just leave people crack on in there. That's the best way to be. So on that note, I just want to talk about kind of something that you've pledged for us. So on our crowdfunding page, 2 lucky people will receive a copy of your book. Yay! Oh, lovely. It's a nice big size as well. So I bet those, can you flip through and just open it up so we can see one of your favourite illustrations in it?
Okay, let me pick a favorite. Let me pick.
Go on, pick your favorite.
That one. Hold on, that one.
Lovely. He's so in love with her, and she's like, yeah.
I know, right? That was one of the favorite things I loved. I was like, to have someone that in love with me, that had to happen.
It kind of, do you know, like when you hear quite a sad song and you're like, I wish someone would sing about me the way that person's singing about them.
Exactly. So, I'm living vicariously through my book.
Do it. You've got to live somehow, especially in the lockdown. So if our viewers come and have a little look at our crowdfunding page and pledge support, they could be lucky enough to get a copy of the book. If you're not lucky enough to get a copy of the book, there's only 2 left, well, 2 available. You can, as I said earlier, buy through Amazon.com, or you can get it on Kindle. Is that right? Kindle?
Yeah, so Kindle does it. So Amazon.com will sell it. And then the publisher themselves, they're called Ex Libris. They sell it as well. But Amazon has it, and all the big houses online have it. So Barnes & Noble, Waterstones, you'll be able to find it anywhere, basically. Like the logline says, just type in Adeza, type in my name, and you should find it somewhere. It's everywhere.
Chuck it into Google, and away we go. We'll be happy. We'll be
Exactly.
Fab. Thank you so much for chatting with us, Omi. Thank you. I've really enjoyed getting to know you. So guys who are watching at home, we do really need your support and participation. Okay, your contributions, like Omi's today, giving us an interview, coming along and chatting a little bit about her life and about the things she does to up her wellness, and a bit about her character and how she sees the world is what we want to bring you guys. We don't just want it to be plug a book, as much as we love the fact that we can do that, because there's so many talented, creative people like Omi, we still want to have conversations that mean something today. So come and have a little look at our next episode, follow the link at our Patreon page, and contribute a pledge, no matter how small, 50p, or I give you a smile and it can be £1. We'll see how you go. But again, I just want to say thank you, Omi. Hopefully we'll get to chat to you once the illustrations for the second book are up and running.
Yes, absolutely. I look forward to that.
Definitely. I love it. And if you ever want to come and talk about your film producing projects, come along. We'll welcome you.
That too, absolutely. Plug it in as many places as possible. That's what I said.
Share, like, follow, all of those things and above. So we'll see next time. Yeah, we are planning to interview a director of a new film, Polyamory, which is what you are involved in also.
Yes, no, I'm a producer on that, and you're gonna interview the director.
Oh, nice. Okay, and what's his name?
Ignacio Bazan.
Ignacio Bazan. He sounds Spanish. Is he Spanish?
Yes, so his name is Spanish sounding, but he's not Spanish.
Oh, well, I can only say, so where's, he's not Spanish. He's British, but he's got a Spanish name.
No, I always mix the countries up because my geography is awful, but it's one of those that were colonized by the Spanish.
Oh, right, okay, so one of the little islands. Oh, awesome. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to that. Are you going to watch it?
Absolutely. It's Ignacio.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta support fellow crew member.
So from me, Omi, and the team at SwashySwan, who you can't see because they're in the background, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, Omi. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.